It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Tuesday show, February 13th, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, or the Fox local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, part of the 62,000 person community here at Woodward Sports, we appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, sir. Just picking out my glorious beard right before the camera before anybody saw it. It was a photo finish.
Oh,
but
man, looking good today,
I appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? The beard's trying to do some things. With this cold, snowy day, you know, the beard's still making it happen, so I'm feeling good. Tom Mazaway, how you feeling over there, partner?
I'm good, man. Got a different camera rolling today, but we'll see how this one rolls.
It makes you look thinner, though.
It does?
It does make you look thinner.
Okay.
It's like the huddle cam.
But it doesn't actually make me thinner.
No, it doesn't actually make you look thinner. One of the things that it may do is upset our audience because
you can't see Alyssa.
You can't see Alyssa. Bethany is walking behind you right now.
Oh, hi, Beth.
You can't see any of that. And we are working to correct that camera. Oh, there we go. There's Bethany. There's D-Mac. D-Mac is getting his hair done. There's Cassie. Hi, Cassie.
You guys are funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job, Tom Mazaway. All right, that was actually, I don't know if that was
pretty cool.
I don't know if that was cool, pretty cool, or pretty creepy.
Pete, just keep it on that angle the whole damn day. Take me out.
We've got Pete Spivak here. We've got Kool-Aid working double duty today. We appreciate you, Kool-Aid. Now, Kool-Aid's a new dad. He's got baby number 2, right?
Baby number 4, actually.
Number 4.
It's my second daughter, though.
Oh, second daughter.
Yep.
Okay, that is your second daughter.
Kool-Aid's busy.
Now, Kool-Aid has to come here. Kool-Aid has to come to work to get a break.
Hey, don't tell my wife that, though. Don't let her hear that.
That's how it works, right? I mean, because the hard work is being done at home. You have to come to work to get a break. So we appreciate you, Kool-Aid, for being here today. Braylon, I want to start with it. The ratings are out for the Super Bowl.
It's lock and load.
It is the second most watched television event in the history of television, only behind the 1969 moon landing of Neil Armstrong walking on the moon.
Holy snipers.
That is how dominant the NFL is, and that is how dominant, in my opinion, Taylor Swift is, Braylon. I don't, and you try to quantify why, right? Last year, 115 million people watched. This blew those records out of the water last year. But back in 2020, 2021, you're talking about 95 million, 98 million. This is a Taylor Swift effect. It's got to be. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, 100%. You know, obviously the Super Bowl, the sport in the NFL is growing every year. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But when the NFL and Taylor Swift, when they meshed this year, the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor, the NFL took off. I mean, they keep telling you the numbers about how it's enhanced the younger audience as it relates to young girls, but even women too, grown adults. They were watching the Super Bowl, not really paying attention to the game, just waiting for the halftime show as a part of that. So when you get in bed, you know, as a corporate entity with the right people, with the right sponsorship, with the right brand managers, it turns into this. This is crazy. Like all the Super Bowls we had, and this isn't even a Super Bowl that necessarily had a ton of fanfare and glitz and glamour, but you know, you introduce Patrick Mahomes, maybe the greatest ever at some point, and then Taylor Swift and the NFL just gets it done, and it's crazy. This is once Jay-Z got on with the NFL and started doing these halftime shows. The NFL has gotten bigger and bigger, and every year, Ryan, you keep talking about the one with Dr. Dre and Snoop and 50 Cent and Mary J. Blige. That was the very first Super Bowl that Jay-Z was a part of the NFL team for, and you've seen it just go bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. It's the NFL. The NFL, if you look at the top, 100 programs this year, the NFL has 95 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just, they are a juggernaut. They are the mob. They are it. They're royalty. And we want more football. And you'll get more football. There will be an 18th regular season game. And you will have Super Bowl Monday off. anytime now, within the next 10 years, maybe less, you will have Super Bowl Monday off because it's going to be, the Super Bowl will be on President's Weekend. Any time now. You could book it, put it down, 115.5 million people. It's probably more than that even. By the time...
there was about over 200 million people that watched at some point in the game.
Of course.
Yeah.
And a lot of us here in Detroit, I believe this. If the Lions were in that Super Bowl, I bet you it would have been 120 some odd million.
Yeah.
I really believe it. Now, at the pregame, I did catch a couple of minutes of the pregame, and I forgot who it was. It was on the CBS panel, and they were like, well, who are you rooting for? Who are you looking for? They're like, there'd be one team that people would be rooting for, and it would have been the Detroit Lions. That's what they said on CBS television before the Super Bowl. I forgot who it was. It might have been Nate Burleson. It might have been him. But if the Lions were there, they truly are. They were America's darling. They would have made these things go even further.
DJ Tom T in the chat says 123.4 sounds like a made-up number when you look closely. Now I don't know exactly what he means by that, but it's one like when they say 123 million. How are they? Is this
It's an average.
Is it streaming? Is this?
It's all platforms
Okay,
now.
so it's everything.
It's all platforms. This was on CBS.
Right.
It was on Paramount Plus. It was on Nickelodeon. It was on the NFL streaming platform.
Fubo.
So it is on more stuff now, but you've got to talk about this too. The moon landing was on multiple channels.
This is right.
The O.J. Simpson,
different countries too.
The O.J. Simpson. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah.
The O.J. Simpson car chase.
That was on everything.
That was on everything. So for this event to be on essentially one channel, even it was CBS's broadcast families in the NFL. This wasn't on CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, and all that stuff, ESPN. But so it's just CBS family of networks.
This is true, but however, when you do Hulu Live had it as well, because that's actually how in one of the TVs we use Hulu Live.
Sure,
that's
part of it.
My kid used that at Grand Valley, so they can get the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's part of the numbers here.
Okay,
and that is. They have started to change how to count that, because now that you can account for all these streaming platforms, when you look at the moon landing in 1969, something that this event is compared to, the Super Bowl on Sunday, anyway, Super Bowl 58.
That was a production too.
I'm not touching that one.
It was a little joke.
I'm not touching that one. But back in 1969, you talk about the moon landing, 125 to 150 million people watch it. That was the range it's given, 125 to 150. In America, there were only 197 million people. At the time. Now it's over 330, 340, somewhere around there. But back in America in 1969, 197 million people.
That's a lot.
Upwards of 150 million people watched.
Not everyone even had TV back then.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah,
that's right. Think about that. So really interesting. And the NFL is king. You talk about not only the Taylor Swift effect, but how about Usher? Did you see Usher's numbers?
Oh, man.
Up 550% on Spotify. His ticket prices for the upcoming concert have skyrocketed north of 40%, and 38% of all the tickets for his entire concert have been purchased after the Super Bowl halftime show. That is an incredible reach.
That's why he doesn't get paid. I was telling everyone at home, he doesn't get paid, right? And this is why.
He got paid $671, the union minimum.
There you go.
Which is crazy because, but that's what they typically do.
Nobody gets paid.
Because I remember the weekend when COVID happened, when the weekend did the Tampa Super Bowl, the weekend put $1 million of his own dollars into the performance, into production. You're absolutely right. But with Usher, just for a second, Usher's hit at the right point, man, as it relates to the residency in Vegas, 3 years of that. Then he gets the Super Bowl. Now he has a new album coming out. Most people that do those residencies, they don't do new albums afterwards, Kool-Aid. Like, they're in Vegas, they're older entertainers. It's Celine Dion. It's what was the other one that was out there? Mariah Carey was out there.
What about Wayne Newton?
Wayne Newton, okay, exactly. But they're not putting out new music. Usher just dropped a new CD, so it goes online with, boom, residency, Super Bowl, new CD, and now the concert sales. So whoever's a part of his marketing team and his strategy team, they're doing a hell of a job because he's getting paid.
And Maz, you being the resident Super Bowl historian of all time, the games were blowouts for a while.
Oh yeah.
Recently, There was a long stretch in there. I'm looking at them right now where they're blow it. Now, there's some close games here, and that adds to the rating number, I feel like. More people are going to want to be in on it.
The longer they watch, right? The longer the game goes, the longer they watch. I rewatched the game last night. As I was texting you guys, they had it. They hit it right on the head on the overtime. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz with Gene Steratore went over all the rules, which I missed during the regular Super Bowl. Most of us aren't paying attention. You know, we're looking at our squares, seeing if I won, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But they said it. This game will continue. This is just a first quarter. Tony Romo, when the Chiefs were driving with about 20 seconds left before that last play, he was like, don't worry about the clock, folks. I know a lot of you are nervous about it. This is strictly a first quarter of an overtime game. It's a new game.
I'm yelling,
is the first quarter.
Hurry!
Yep.
Hurry!
I was telling my wife about what you were saying, and she was like, "Yeah, I could understand that." But they did a good job. CBS, they put the freeze frame up. They showed you exactly how the new overtime goes, and it turns out the Kansas City Chiefs knew about it. The 49ers might not have known about it.
Do we have the Tiki Barber? Did we put the Tiki Barber in today? He lost his mind yesterday.
I'll get it for you in the next break.
He lost his. I mean, it's fine. It's
good.
We're talking.
It's a good thing to listen to.
In the context of the conversation now that we're having, when you don't understand the rules, it's hard to play under those situations.
It is too, and that's why yesterday we first started talking about it was the negligence, man. Then when you miss something like that. That's huge negligence, man. And you're talking about, people didn't know and it got implemented 2 years ago. 2 years is a very long time. 2 years, 2 playoffs, and then now you're in the Super Bowl. You're supposed to know these things. You're supposed to refresh yourself. You're supposed to cover every base that you can. Hell, CBS put it out before the halftime. You know what I'm saying? Before the overtime so that we can see it at home. Andy Reid coached his guys up on it. It's nothing you could tell me in terms of Kyle Shanahan not having that information and not providing it. This is one-on-one stuff. You go over all the rules and regulations.
Here's what Tiki Barber had to say about this yesterday. I thought this was really good.
The new NFL overtime rule in the playoffs is nonsense.
Oh,
it's absolute nonsense.
Really? Okay.
To make the clock mean nothing is nonsense.
So you think the clock should have ended the game?
The clock has to end the game. I understand why they do it this way because you want to be fair, but it takes all urgency out of football. Some of the greatest moments in the NFL, it's end of half Hail Marys or end of half urgency to get in the field goal position. We got to move the ball 40 yards, get to the 35-yard line, run the kicker out there, kick a field goal. We go into halftime. We have momentum. That's urgency. Why? Because there's a clock ticking down. Let's think about the end of game. You get into overtime in the playoffs, and you take all of that, and you just throw it away. All right, you're guaranteed a possession. If your possession takes, 22 minutes, good luck, right? Because guess what? The other team's going to get a possession too. The clock has no purpose.
Right.
Like, I hate that because football in my mind is – it's competing against the opponent, but it's also competing against like these forces that constrain you, right? And it's the field, it's the officials, and it's the clock. In overtime in the NFL playoffs, they have neutered the clock, and it makes no sense to me.
I'm glad Tiki Barber said that because that's how I felt up here yesterday, Maz, when we were talking about it. And I apologize for being wrong. Hey, it happens a lot. I am wrong a lot. But that's the big thing is the clock has to mean something. And everything he said is what I'm about to repeat right now. Those moments matter. You don't think it affects a receiver when he has to do a 2-minute drill or he has to do 40 seconds or he's got to get up to the line of scrimmage after running the route to get back. That's why you give them even more credit when they make a play like Santonio Holmes did in the Super Bowl that we love so much, the Cardinals and Steelers. Those guys were gassed on that. Making mistakes is a part of when you're rushing. Now you're out of alignment. Now you get tired. The first thing you do when you get tired, you start to make mental errors, and it starts to happen. If I know it doesn't matter what the clock is going to do, we can take our sweet time. We can take our sweet time.
Well,
we can take our sweet time, get to line.
No urgency at all.
Like no urgency. Now we're more rested. Now we're fresher. Like I agree with him 100%. The moments that have happened in some of these games, playoff games, Super Bowl, it's about the time winding down. It's field goals at the last second, like Vinatieri. The reason why Vinatieri is a household name is because the clock matters. That's crazy to me.
Listen
Brian,
to
you
me.
said the same thing.
Listen, man. The overtime had to be changed.
Yeah.
It's not right to flip a coin and have one team go down and score. The old score, sudden death. If they kicked the field goal, it was over. Then they changed it. If they kick a field goal, the other team gets a chance. Now they changed it again. Both teams get an absolute full chance with the ball to score a touchdown, field goal, whatever you want. Whoever scores most in that overtime is the winner. The only time it can go quick and sudden death if it's a safety or if it's a fumble and someone picks it up and runs it back on a defensive touchdown on the first possession. Other than that, each team gets the ball. So why run the clock? Okay, take the clock out of it like they do in college football then. You guys aren't complaining in college football when you get it at the 20-yard line.
I
right?
hate it.
I don't like that either.
I hate that.
Okay.
I think that's a
So what's a
thing in the
happy
world.
medium then? You want to play one quarter of overtime like they do? You want to play one quarter of overtime?
I actually love
like soccer?
I actually love the NFL regular season overtime.
10 minutes?
No, other than that, I think it should be 15 minutes. Play an actual quarter because one drive could be 8 minutes long.
Yeah, but it ends. It still ends
after a touch. Stop me from getting a touchdown. If you kick a field goal, I get a chance. If you come down, march down, and score a touchdown, over.
Here's the problem. Not the problem.
Like
Here's what I feel sorry for. Go back to the Atlanta-New England game. And Atlanta obviously gave up a 28-3 lead and then tied it at the end to send it to overtime, right? And what did New England do? They went right down and scored a touchdown. Game over.
Yeah.
With this rule, Atlanta would have had another chance. Matty Ice would have had a shot to go back down and do it. So, there's a – see, Ryan?
You're right.
There's
right.
the other way.
That. Yeah, I do.
There you go.
And that might be the only way to do it.
It is. They got it right this time. They got it right.
Minus the clock.
Just don't look at the clock.
Right.
Don't look at it. Ray? I just said it. Right. The Falcons lost because they didn't get the ball.
Right.
That ain't right.
The Falcons lost because they gave up a 25-point lead.
That don't matter.
That's why they lost.
It's a new game, man.
It shouldn't be a new game.
Okay.
We argue when it's happened with the Chiefs and the Bills. You're taking it to the Falcons. So the Falcons lose a 25-point lead, and there should be a rule to save themselves. Hey, you know what? But you should get another chance.
It is the Super Bowl.
I guess the Falcons lost the same way that the Bills lost to the Chiefs a couple of years ago, which was the reason for this rule. So we could talk about overtime till we're blue in the face. I think
they got it right.
That it might be right. I would like to see the game end after one period. I would have liked, if you have the clock, then don't give me the clock.
You ever watch overtime hockey?
Yeah, don't. Yeah,
you want it to end after one period? I've watched 5 overtimes in the playoffs.
It ends when
there's a score.
When there's a score.
Correct. Hockey's different than football.
Sudden death.
Each team is on the ice together.
But football is sudden death too, essentially. In the regular season.
I just don't like it. I don't know. I just don't like it. What if you – because you could take a drive. A drive can be 8 minutes. You only get 10 minutes. A drive can be 8 minutes. You kick a field goal.
That's what the Chiefs did. That's what 49ers spent 8 minutes on the field.
Exactly. And now the next team come out, the Kansas City Chiefs, they can go down the field and they can take another 8 minutes. They can go into the next overtime period and then kick the 3 points. I want to sit there and do that for 5 quarters. Like that could get very long in the tooth.
You didn't like the Super Bowl ending?
So this year?
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I'll tell you,
I loved it.
At the end of the Super Bowl, I was like, okay, can we get a winner already now, though?
Damn.
That's because it's late and you had work at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, but I think most people on Sunday nights have to.
I wanted 5 overtime.
One thing about this, can the Super Bowl start at 5 and not 6:30? Like, forget about the Super Bowl Saturday situation. It's never going to happen Super Bowl Saturday. But is it that big of a deal if you start it at 5? I think that would make a huge difference. Like, I think about the people that came to my house that have, school-age kids and stuff. Everybody leaves after the halftime performance or after the third quarter. And it just becomes too late for people if you have work. If you have a job, chances are you're going home. Yeah. You know what I mean? If tomorrow morning matters to you,
I'm staying home anyway. I ain't going to your house.
I understand, but
I'm going staying home in my pajamas watching the effing game.
But if tomorrow morning matters to you, you're out of there. You're going home, or you're staying home, or your plans are being dictated by when the game ends instead of just what you want to do.
If a game ends at midnight and you don't have if you don't have a dog in the fight, which nobody in this city did, no dogs in the fight, game ends at 12, you got kids that have school tomorrow, you got work tomorrow. That's a long time, man. And I get it. It's the Super Bowl. It's the reason why I play the sport. It's the reason why I love football. The Super Bowl, it brings you in. But to watch from 6:35 to 12:15, if they get along, that's a lot with kids.
I went to bed at 1:30 on Sunday.
Yeah.
1:30 after I watched the post game, put our show together. Had to watch Chris Berman and Booger do a prime time.
What if you watch it at somebody's house? Now you're not getting home.
Well, I'm not going to their house.
True, but go ahead.
I was just going to say. So here's the Eastern time zone people. Marvin Strong in the chat. Ryan, we live in the Eastern time zone, so you would literally be an inconvenience to the rest of the country. Marvin, 80% of the population in the United States, 80% of the United States population live in the Eastern and Central time zones.
Yeah.
Okay?
I wish we were Central, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great, but again, that's starting at 5. Do you think the people on the West Coast, because the game starts at 2 and not 4:15, are going to not watch? Nope, the game doesn't start at 2:15 or 4:15.
They used to kick it at 1 o'clock when I was a kid.
What I'm saying
Eastern.
is, if you're in California, the game would start at 2 as opposed to 4:18.
Yeah.
And it's still a better situation for them because after the Super Bowl you still got to
3:30
so
Western.
It would start at 6, so 3:18, 3:30.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Really? That 2 hours is gonna choose
Get off the beach and get home and watch the damn game.
preclude you from watching? I don't know, man. I just
I'm with you on he started early.
yeah.
I
5 o'clock.
I waited all day. I just wanted to watch the game.
I know.
I just wanted to watch the game.
And there's a bunch of pre-programming on there that you can still sell. I mean, you could still just do your pregame show.
Start at noon.
I don't know. Hey, did you see the controversy with the national anthem?
I did.
So the national anthem, the time of the national anthem is one of the most bet props that you have. Over or under a certain amount of time. I think it was over under
93.
93 seconds.
I timed it too.
Okay. So it was over under 93 seconds. Well, Reba McEntire sings the song, but she then starts repeating the brave,
right.
the brave, the brave, the brave. So when did the song actually end? After the first the brave or after multiple times of her singing the brave?
When she stopped singing.
And after the first time, it would have been under. After the final time she said the brave, it was over. So BetMGM paid out both bets.
The book's lost,
the
man.
Under and the over. If you had the under, they paid you. If they had the over, they paid you.
Good for them.
Good for them. That's the right thing to do.
Because they never get anything right. That's why I left.
You know what?
That's why I left.
You know what? The good for them, and you know what? Everyone else will be back and betting double.
Right.
They know it.
That's really it.
They know it.
You know, nobody's taking that money out.
No.
Oh my gosh.
They're gonna let it ride. Let it ride.
I thought that was pretty great. Hey guys, we've got Ari Meirov coming up from the 33rd team coming up in just a couple of minutes. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys, Mike Shanahan's still getting killed today. Or not Mike Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan still getting killed today, and the players, more players are saying, yeah, we didn't really know what the overtime rules were. He is saying that he took the ball first because after the first 2 overtimes, it's sudden death.
Right.
So he wanted the ball third.
He thought they'd trade.
If they traded touchdown, field goal,
right.
Whoever has the ball third, it becomes sudden death.
So we didn't know that yesterday.
We did not know that either.
So maybe he did know.
So maybe he did know and didn't talk to his players.
No, he didn't know. Someone told him to say that.
Perhaps.
That's a fact.
Perhaps. Yeah. But, Kyle Shanahan, I saw this Andy Reid statistic, or not statistic, just this fact. We view Andy Reid as probably one of the top, 2, 3, 4, certainly a top 5 coach of all time. 2001, head coach of Philadelphia, lost in the conference championship game. 2002, head coach Philadelphia, lost in the conference championship game. 2003, Philadelphia, lost in the conference championship game. 2004, Philadelphia, lost in the Super Bowl. 3 straight years as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, Andy Reid lost the conference championship game. And when they finally won the conference championship in the 4th year, he lost in the Super Bowl. That was a coach that couldn't win the big game, and couldn't win the big game until he got with Patrick Mahomes. So do you think we put too much on these coaches? Like, are we going way too far on Kyle Shanahan right now with the narrative of whether it's choking in big games? We flashed the graphic yesterday, the 10-point loss in both Super Bowls, the 25-point loss in Atlanta. We were saying the same thing about Andy Reid as well, about 20 years ago. And I repeat, it wasn't until he got with Mahomes that he became an all-time great coach. Oh, by the way, it wasn't until Bill Belichick got with Tom Brady that he became an all-time great coach.
And when he didn't have him, he went down the tubes again.
Exactly. So do we put too much on Kyle Shanahan is my question.
Yeah, I said that the same thing yesterday. And when I broke it down, I was like, yo, could you see them removing Kyle Shanahan? I said, well, they did the same thing with the guy across the sideline from him, and Andy Reid, and you see how it worked out. To a certain extent, maybe, but at the same time, we've seen the track record. But the one thing missing, the piece, it's the quarterback. It's the quarterback. Matt Ryan, I get it. He won league MVP, first overall pick, blah, blah, blah. Matt Ryan's not one of those guys. Lost the Super Bowl. Next, Jimmy Garoppolo misses a wide-open Emmanuel Sanders in the end zone that would have won them that first Super Bowl over the Chiefs. And then this year, Brock Purdy had a pretty good game. Wasn't terrible, wasn't great, but we've been trying to replace Brock Purdy since he's been the starting quarterback. So I think in one sense, if you're not going to get a quarterback, then if you're Jed York, then maybe you do move on from Kyle Shanahan. But if you trust Kyle Shanahan, if you believe that he's the genius that we all say is, then get him a quarterback. You guys have been dancing with these quarterbacks. Is it Sam Darnold? Is it Trey Lance? Is it Brock Purdy? Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? Are we going to get Tom Brady from out of retirement 2 years after he retires? Found that out last year. Is it Aaron Rodgers?
By the way, Tom Brady
would have won the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady would have won that Super Bowl. Tom Brady could play football next year and be a top 5 quarterback in the game.
100%.
He would.
So I think if you're Jed York, if you're the owner, get a quarterback. Stop trying to take a chance on some quarterbacks that don't. Trey Lance, that you know nothing about. You've got a team in place. You've had a roster in place for the better part of 3-4 seasons, Tom Mazaway.
Oh, yeah.
Get yourself a quarterback. Find out what it needs, who's out there, who you're going to get. Get yourself a quarterback because you got everybody in place. Now you got Greenlaw. That end, the run, it doesn't happen forever. Greenlaw tears his Achilles. Chase Young's not coming back. Other people have to get paid. What are you going to do?
Ayuk might not come back.
Ayuk might not come back. He's another guy that's up unrestricted. So the run doesn't last forever. I think they dropped a bomb in the quarterback department.
By the way, Ayuk would be nice here in Detroit. Just want to put that out there. But Mike Shanahan, Kyle's dad, they asked him, what do you tell your kid? What do you tell Kyle? And basically he said, stop complaining, stop whining, stop crying, get out there and keep trying. It takes a while.
Lesson for life.
That's it. Keep going. What are you doing? Stop whining.
Exactly. I don't know if he's whining as much as people are whining around him.
I have that tweet, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, there it is. It's life. It is life, no doubt about it. Guys, we'll have Ari Meirov from the 33rd team at My Sports Update on with us next. We'll talk about the Super Bowl, overtime, Lions, look at next year's outlook as well. But first, a message from us here at WSN, Woodward Sports Network. Click on that shop tab. Affordable, comfortable, new Detroit sports wearables, hoodies, hats, tees, everything in between. Check it out, woodwardsports.com. Click shop.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
I love Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
Winning is a habit. So is listening daily to Woodward Sports. We're glad you're a winner, and thanks for listening.
Hey, gang, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. Pleasure to be joined now by our good friend Ari Meirov of the 33rd team. You can find him on Twitter, on X, at MySportsUpdate. Ari, how you doing? Glad to see you inside. I know that snowstorm is coming your way.
Yeah, it's great to see all of you here, all three of you. We got hit. It wasn't as hard as they were saying, but I just got back from doing some shoveling, and now we're back indoors. And my regular season starts now, the off season. So here we are.
It is so great, and we're going to get there in 1 minute. I do want to pick up on a conversation we were just having. In fact, the 33rd team, you guys just tweeted this out too, and it's the graphic of Andy Reid and the graphic of Kyle Shanahan. And that narrative that Kyle Shanahan cannot win the big game was said about Andy Reid almost to a T until he got with Patrick Mahomes. So do you believe that's a fair criticism of Kyle Shanahan?
I don't know if it's, in a way it is fair because he's been there obviously twice as the head coach. He was there once as an offensive coordinator. And I've always wondered why he gets so much blame for 28-3 and Dan Quinn doesn't get as much, at least publicly. But yeah, he hasn't been able to win the big game up until now, and everyone is going to question him until he finally is able to get it. But it's unquestioned that he is one of the best head coaches in the NFL. Part of me kind of feels bad because this is somebody who is one of the smartest offensive minds in the league. Everyone tries to copy him. Everyone tries to hire his assistants. And if you go on his Wikipedia page right now, there is no head coach of the year. There is no Super Bowl champion. If he doesn't get a Super Bowl eventually, what is he going to be remembered for the next generation? So you hope he's able to win one eventually because he is really one of the brilliant offensive minds. But this team was loaded this year. You look up and down that roster on offense, defense, offensive line, secondary, running back, receiver, everything. And eventually this offseason is going to come. They're still going to have the cheap quarterback contract, but there are going to be players who are going to have to either be cut or will leave as free agents, and now it becomes more difficult. So I will never doubt Kyle Shanahan getting back, but that narrative is never going to die until he finally wins one, just like Andy Reid for many, many years in Philadelphia. Couldn't win it. It took a change of scenery. Finally got the best quarterback in football. Now he's winning nonstop. So maybe eventually it happens with him also, but that thing is going to be surrounding him forever until he finally gets it.
Yeah, well, until somebody else loses by 26 or in the Super Bowl, it comes back like that, they're always going to look at it because of how well that offense performed in the first half. And I think it sucks, but that's truly the case for that. You were talking about that Super Bowl. In that Super Bowl was Matt Ryan. I saw something that you posted today. Matt Ryan, I know I'm getting off subject, fellas. My apologies. Matt Ryan feels like his numbers don't lie. He should be a Hall of Famer. What say you, Ari Meirov? I have an opinion on that.
I've had a tough time with this one, and I really wondered what he would say. And the way I asked the question to him was Cam Newton was asked the same question, and he gave a very honest answer that he thinks he should be, and I'm curious to hear your answer. And he gave an honest answer. He believes he should be in. Now, will he eventually get in? I'm not sure. I do feel like from all the sports, football is kind of lenient when it comes to, especially with quarterbacks, that they eventually find a way in. Will it be first ballot? No. Will it take time? Probably. Do I think he eventually gets in? I do. Statistics-wise, numbers-wise, MVP, made a Super Bowl. I do think he ends up getting in ultimately, but it's going to take time. I'm curious to see what happens next year at this time. Eli Manning is eligible for the first time. Does he get in on the first ballot? Is it just because of the 2 Super Bowls? Because if you look at Eli's numbers, it's really nothing incredible. But, of course, winning 2 Super Bowls over Tom Brady might get him in. But if he gets in on the first ballot, I feel like that gives room for a guy like Matt Ryan to get in solely because of his numbers.
Eli's the first ballot Hall of Famer, and simply put, he beat Tom Brady twice. Like, no matter how you slice it, he's a winner. Like, when he gets into the playoffs, not a lot, but when he gets into the playoffs, he usually wins the Super Bowl, and he's made 2 plays that are top 5 arguably in the Super Bowl history. So I think he will get in first ballot. Yeah, that is interesting. You talk about Matt Ryan. I look at it like this. Like Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, like that class of quarterback, it's tough to get in, but I think this is a better time for those players to get in because I think now we're so focused on numbers and stats. I don't think championships matters as much in terms of guys getting into the Hall of Fame. But your question about Cam Newton, love him to death. He's not a Hall of Famer. He had a damn good season the year they year they got to the Super Bowl. I think sometimes they try to use college to boost what you did in the NFL to help. And obviously he's one of the best college quarterbacks of all time, one of the best one season. But that's not the NFL. And what he did in the NFL, and I love Cam. I'll defend him to the death. He doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
I mean, your guy in Matthew Stafford was in that same bucket, by the way, until he finally won that Super Bowl. Now that he's won it, it feels like he's going to get in no matter what now. So getting that championship, like Matt said in the video, that definitely will make a difference. But he didn't get it.
Hey, Ari, I want to talk to you about the game, the Super Bowl. We texted you yesterday when we were on the air just to discuss the overtime. What do you think of the new overtime rule here in the playoffs, that the team, you each get a series. You score a touchdown, the other team can score a touchdown and keep it going, and then it will become sudden death. Do you think the NFL has it right now?
Yeah, I mean, I like the rule. We're always talking about Matt Ryan right now. His Super Bowl, the 28-3 Super Bowl, went to overtime. New England got the ball first, scored, game was over.
Yep.
There was the Chiefs AFC Championship game versus the Patriots against Tom Brady. Brady went right down, scored, game was over. And, of course, there was the Chiefs-Bills AFC divisional round, or championship game, I believe. And Patrick went down, scored, game was over. Josh never got the ball. And that is when the rules changed. I think in a playoff game, in that format, both teams should get the ball. Now, I disagreed with Kyle's decision to take the ball first. I thought he should have deferred. I thought it was, let's see what the Chiefs do first, and we know what we have after the fact. And, I was just thinking about this, and I've spoken to a few people about it. It felt like the Chiefs were prepared for this simply because they've been involved in it twice. And I just mentioned the two. It was the Patriots-Chiefs and the Bills-Chiefs game. So they were involved with the rule changing. So Andy Reid has already gone through every possible scenario if it ever got to this point. And here it was. And Chris Jones said after the game, we wanted to get the ball second. And if they scored first and we scored touchdown as well, we're going for 2. Like that's where the game is ending. Yeah. So they were like fully prepared. And I'm just wondering, I don't think the 49ers were fully prepared for that scenario. I think they went into the game thinking, if we get this to overtime versus the Chiefs, then let's just see what happens from there, and that's it. And the Chiefs had a full plan ready to go, and ultimately, they ended up getting it. Because, like, the 49ers taking the ball, if you're taking the ball, in my opinion, then you must be going for 7. You cannot be settling for 3. And they ended up settling for 3.
Right.
So the entire plan that the 49ers had in place just didn't feel organized. And I think every organization in the NFL right now, all 32 teams, or 31, I guess, are going to go through their analytics team to make sure if they're ever in this scenario, they're ready for it and what is the right call. And I think it's to kick it off, not to take the ball.
I rewatched the game last night, and I was telling the guys that Tony Romo They spoke it properly, and we didn't see it during the game. The Super Bowl, we're all busy. We have people over. We're looking at our squares. So we didn't hear how the new overtime rule was going to be. But they did explain it. Gene Sarator did it as well. What confused people, Ari, is the clock. The clock really is meaningless. All it is for changing possession of the ball, where you're going to go, which side of the field you're going to go on. Am I correct with that? Why run the clock?
That's a great question. The clock is meaningless. There's no reason to even have a clock on there. And the entire idea of it, like you said, is if the clock gets to 0, you're just flipping sides of the field.
Correct.
So that's all it is. So people who are panicking and being confused why they're not taking a timeout, had the numbers gone down to triple zeros, the possession would have continued. Both teams must get a full possession. That is the rule. So had that ball to Hardman been incomplete and there was 1 second left or 0, the Chiefs would have had a second down and then a third down and eventually a fourth down. So that's just the way it works. And I think I would imagine all 123 million people who watch this game are now fully aware of the overtime rules when it comes to the playoffs.
Amen.
Hey, Ari, something we were talking about yesterday is talking about Kyle Shanahan. We're talking about him taking all this, in the media and the fans and his team kind of somewhat saying, they weren't aware. Is that a negligence? Is that a stain? Because I look at it like this. I told Ryan, I told Maz yesterday, playing in this game, playing in the playoffs, the coach's job is to know everything that is going to potentially come up. You practice these scenarios in practice, whether it's, no timeouts left. How long does it take you to get your team out there to kick a field goal? It doesn't matter what it is. You practice these things. And like you said, the analytics and data department, it's their job to refresh coaches on things like this. 2 years ago, this rule's been in place. Like, I think, amongst the Falcons game, the Chiefs first time, Chiefs second time, blah, blah, blah. Something like this in a major moment, and it comes up, and CBS explains it, and it did come out today that Kyle Shanahan said that he went this way because he wanted to take a third. Did he? Like, Maz cracked the joke, and I'm like, Maz jokes might not be a joke. Like, it might be something that came out today. I know you can't comment on that. We won't get you in trouble, but that negligence, just the negligence part. If it is the case, that's something major that he and Jed York have to talk about. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, the players literally went after the game and said we were not aware that this rule even existed. I mean, some of them, Kyle Juszczyk came out and said, I didn't know this was a thing. So clearly they didn't talk about it at all during the course of the week. And listen, you have 2 weeks to prepare. There's a lot of media obligation. There's a lot of preparing. The 49ers had a lot of other stuff going on as well. They were at the UNLV practice fields, which were not the best for them. They had a fire alarm. They had a bunch of different things going on, but that's not an excuse. So I don't know what the reason is. I don't know why they weren't fully prepared for this. Maybe they thought the chances of an overtime playoff game happening, which it had not happened up until now under the new rules, was unlikely. Maybe that's the way they thought. I have no idea. Yeah. But their thought process throughout all of it, like if Kyle came after the game and said, you know what, the reason I did it was because my defense was gassed and I saw the numbers, they were on the field for, I think 60% or 70% of the lot of the end of the game, they were on the field a lot. If he would have said that, I would have been okay, fine. Maybe that could make sense, whatever. But him saying we wanted a third possession, I just don't agree with it. I mean, at that point, just kick it off.
Thank you.
See what the Chiefs do, and then, you have the ball knowing you need 3 or 7, or if you need 7, just go for it because you don't want to give Patrick the ball back, and whatever happens, happens. So I just disagree with the entire thing. I just don't think it was thought out at all, and I don't think the NFL will ever release the mic'd up of Kyle Shanahan talking as soon as it went to overtime and talking in his headset what he was saying. But I wouldn't be shocked if he just wasn't fully ready for the scenario, and his staff wasn't ready, and that's an unfortunate part of it.
Talking to Ari Meirov, he 33rd team, and of course you can follow him on X at My Sports Update. Ari, I wanted to look at this offseason, really big offseason. Obviously, here in Detroit, I mean, we feel like the Lions would have won that game if they were in it, but they weren't. So it's an important season for the Lions. Is there a free agent that is going to be sought after by so many teams? He's like the domino guy. Everybody will be signed after this player goes in free agency. Does this free agent class in 2024 have that guy in it? And second part of that question,
Chris Jones,
quarterback. In 2020 we saw Brady go to the Bucks, Stafford go in 21 to the Rams, Russell Wilson, although it didn't work out, went to the Broncos. Is there that quarterback that this year that will propel some team, or the thought will be to propel some team moving forward? Is that out there?
Yeah, I mean, so we'll start with the quarterbacks. The quarterback market really starts with Kirk Cousins will be a free agent. He cannot be tagged. I know the Vikings want him back, but I also know that Kirk is a very shrewd negotiator, especially his agent. He's done really well. And there are many teams who need quarterbacks. So there's a chance he makes it to the open market, and there could be teams interested. He is recovering from the Achilles injury. It looks like he's doing well there, but that is a name. The second name everyone will bring up is Justin Fields. If the Bears are going to draft a quarterback at number 1, Justin Fields has to end up somewhere, and that could be, Atlanta, it could be Pittsburgh, it could be New England. There are many teams who need quarterbacks. So those are probably the top 2 big names out there. Russell Wilson will get he will get released by the Broncos. He will become a free agent. He's probably going to sign for the minimum somewhere. He could ultimately become a bridge quarterback for a team going into next year. And then, of course, you have this draft coming up with Caleb and Drake and Jaden Daniels and obviously your Michigan quarterback, and then Michael Penix go next year. JJ McCarthy. There you go.
Let's go.
Don't get this guy started, Ari. Don't get him started.
So you have that element of it as well. So, if there's a team that falls in love with a quarterback, that makes their current quarterback available. So the quarterback dominoes could get interesting. I think the Combine is at the end of this month. I'll be there. That's really when all the chatter really starts with all this stuff. And there will be a clear picture. One more quarterback name I'll mention, Geno Smith. At the end of this week on Friday, it hasn't been talked about much. He has $12.5 million that becomes fully guaranteed. Seattle might have to make a decision on that by the end of this week. If they don't, that means he's probably safe. If they do, you might hear about it before Friday, so be ready for that. And then as for free agency, Chris Jones, Braylon mentioned it. If he makes it to the market, and I imagine he does because he cannot really get tagged, even though he does not have a no tag clause, I would imagine he will be very sought out. L'Jarius Sneed, the Chiefs cornerback, if he's not tagged, he has been awesome for them, a very underrated player. I don't think T. Higgins makes it to the market, but if he does, he will be the top wide receiver on the market. And then there are some really good offensive linemen who are going to hit the market. Your own Jonah Jackson should be making it there. Kevin Dotson from the Rams was the best guard for Pro Football Focus this year. He's going to get a lot of money. The linebacker market, Patrick Queen should do really well. So it's a pretty deep free agent market this year. And assuming those guys don't get tagged, it could be a pretty active first week of March once we get there. So this free agent market compared to other years is pretty loaded when you look at it this year compared to other years.
All right, when you look at the Chiefs, I mean, obviously Chris Jones and then L'Jarius Sneed, 2 huge roles for that defense. Is there any doubt in your mind that both would want to return to Kansas City, or is there a surprise out there with those guys, one or both leave? This is just a business part of it.
No, I'm sure they want to be back. The thing with the Chiefs and what really has made everything about them impressive is that they have not been aggressive when it comes to contracts with their own players. They don't act like the Eagles. They don't act like the Saints. They don't act like the Rams. They set a price for their players, and if they don't take it, they're fine with moving on. We saw it with Tyreek Hill. We saw it with Orlando Brown. Chris Jones, before the season started, he missed that Week 1 game against your Lions. Contract dispute. They couldn't figure it out. He came back on a 1-year deal. So point is, even if the player is beloved, even if the player is so important, they have been comfortable letting players go. It's one of their things. It's the way their front office operates. Business is business. So I could see one of the players being let go. I could see both players leaving if they make it to free agency, if they get an offer that is just way better than what the Chiefs are offering. And Chris Jones, I mentioned just now, he basically cannot get tagged. His cap number is too high. The tag number will be too high. So he basically has an open path to free agency. And if he makes it there, there's going to be a team that's going to pay him a ridiculous amount of money. And at that point, I don't think the Chiefs are going to match. And it's going to come down to, do I want to stay here and continue winning, or do I just get the money that I've been waiting for my entire career? So I could see one of those two names definitely leaving, because once you make it to the market, you guys know this, one team is going to overpay you, and you got to take the money. That's just the way it works.
All right, here's this isn't a question. This is a prediction, if you will. You're going to hear it now in February, then you're going to be talking in April. The Detroit Lions with the 29th pick are drafting Kool-Aid McKinstry, named after our own Kool-Aid here in the booth. Kool-Aid, I think Kool-Aid McKinstry would be. You look at the roster. A lot of Alabama guys on that roster. So I think Kool-Aid McKinstry, and I also think they may take a shot at L'Jarius Sneed. It's just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. It's all you, man.
Hey, Ari.
I love it. I mean, I hope it happens.
Hey, about our Lions, and I say our Lions because I know you're a Lion. You're with us. You're in the Lions' den with us. Do you see this team back in the NFC Championship game next year? First stop. I want to ask you that.
I mean, I'm not going to doubt them, but I do agree with what Dan Campbell said after the game, that everyone knows now that we're a target. Like, we're good now. We're no longer the same old Lions. So every game next year, no one is looking at you guys as if they're just, an easy win or whatever. So I think the schedule becomes harder. I think the division will become harder. Obviously, we know Jordan Love. The Bears might have a new quarterback, and that roster is slowly but surely building up to becoming a really good roster. So it's going to become harder. But this team, the way Brad Holmes has built this team, it wasn't built like the Rams when they won the Super Bowl and it just, eventually they had to move off from a lot of players, take on a lot of dead money or whatever. This team is built for sustained success.
Yep.
There's a lot of really good young players on this team. This offseason will be crucial, though. I mean, you mentioned they're going to have to pay guys. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aleem McNeil, Jonah Jackson's a free agent, Graham Glasgow's a free agent. They're no longer picking high now. You're picking down at the bottom of the first round. I know Brad has a good history of drafting, but the point is there's no longer that top guy. We're just getting him and he'll, be guaranteed to be great. So it becomes harder now. That's what makes the NFL so great. The NFL is structured for each team to be, when it was a 16-game schedule, to be 8-8, and the pendulum is which way you're going, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. That's what made the Patriots so great all those years. That's what makes the Chiefs so impressive right now. So it's about staying consistent and realizing what we did last year, going into this next year, I mean, absolutely nothing. It's a new year now. So as long as Dan Campbell sets them up to have that mindset that it's a new year, everyone's going to try to beat us now. Everyone knows how great we are. And as long as that's going to happen, I have high hopes for the Detroit Lions for 2024 and beyond. I'm all in on this team moving forward for many, many years. You guys know that.
And don't forget, we have the draft here on April 25th.
That's right.
It will be here in Detroit. So who knows what Brad Holmes will pick. I mean, he's got 4 picks in the top 93. So I expect some fireworks still on that day. What free agent out there makes the Lions a Super Bowl winner?
So I've talked about this with a few people, and we did a video on this on the 33rd team. I'm just curious to know which direction is Brad Holmes going. And what I mean is he came from the Rams, and we saw the way Les Snead operated, where he decided just to go all in when he felt like he really had a shot, and they traded for Ramsey and they traded for Von Miller and they just went all out and they won the Super Bowl. I'm just curious if he makes that bold, splashy move this offseason. The move I'm looking at is during the trade deadline, they talked about trading for Danielle Hunter. They called the Panthers about Brian Burns. They weren't interested, but he's set to be a free agent. I think he'll get tagged, but negotiations there have now gone well. Does he go all out for a player? Because right now the defensive line on the edge is Aiden Hutchinson and who else? If he goes out and gets one of those big names to pair up with Aiden, I feel like that team becomes a different level now. The secondary has to be addressed as well. Mm-hmm. I'm also just curious about the offensive line. I don't know how much you guys have talked about this, but when Brad came in, he kind of inherited that offensive line. There hasn't been much addressing there from him, at least. Now you have Ragnar with all these injuries. You have Decker with 1 year left. You have Jackson as a free agent. You have Glasgow as a free agent. They're going to have to address that eventually to make sure that core, or at least you have your next guys coming up. So what he does there as well is interesting. But for me, if he makes a splash move, I'm curious to see if he does anything at the defensive line, goes for a big name, because there are guys available on the market this year.
Who you throw 2 or 3 names out there for us, Ari? Let the people out there kind of salivate a little bit. Who are the top 2 or 3 guys?
So the top three are Brian Burns, I mentioned, Daniil Hunter, 2, and then Bryce Huff with the Jets is super underrated. The guy gets to the quarterback all the time. Negotiations with the Jets have not gone well so far. I would be shocked if they tag him. If he gets to the market, he is so perfect for Detroit. So I don't know if it gets to that point, but he is the name, if he's able to get there, that I would love to see him with Aiden Hutchinson, because that guy gets to the quarterback so much. It's unbelievable how good he is.
I love
Very
that.
underrated.
This is like reading Penthouse Forum back in the 80s. I swear to God, listening to this, it's like Penthouse Forum in the 80s. Oh my God!
Luckily, the kids don't know what that
Oh
means.
man, I love it. That's so good. Ari, thank you so much for your time, buddy. Stay safe out there in the snowstorm in New York City. We appreciate
Call
you.
the shuttle service.
Check out Ari on the 33rd team, and of course on X at My Sports Update. Thanks, Ari. We appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate you guys.
You got it. How great is that?
Oh.
So perfect for Detroit. I am
guy.
going to live and die with that quote. And I see that the city of Detroit is furiously Googling Huff from the Jets right now.
100%.
What are his stats? What are his numbers?
Stats.
What are his numbers?
What's that number? He couldn't get to the QB last year.
Start hating.
Huff, he's going to Detroit.
You can have him. He sucked.
Hey, until he doesn't.
That is so good. All right, guys, we'll take a break. Top of the hour coming up. But first, a message from Big Boy.
Oh, Big Boy.
Or Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, the Barada family has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. All you got to do is visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods on Mack Avenue. Grab-and-go steaks. If you can't make it in person, you can always order online. Fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com.
Now it's time for Big Boy, right?
There you
Here
go.
we go. Winter time's always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try that great breakfast that they have, guys. The stuffed potato pancakes are to die for. And those omelets, the lumberjack, the Santa Fe omelet, outstanding. The apple pie hotcakes, too good to pass up. And then you got lunch and dinner coming up. Not only do they have the Big Boy, but they got the veal parmesan, the Southern Comfort chicken bowl, and man, those desserts, those pies and shakes, you got to get one, especially the gingerbread shake while you can at your local Big Boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort chicken bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, and GMC. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue, where they have been for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together. Let's drive.
Let's drive, baby.
And then after you get that brand new car, you can shop for your auto insurance through Swiss Insurance Group. They also cover home as well. And right now is the perfect time to shop for both home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network. They should be covering you too. You can ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com or call 248-800-4177.
Hey, Hoof-Hearted is all over this Bryce Huff guy.
25 years old, 255 pounds, 6 foot 3 inches tall, 10 sacks in 2023.
Woo!
From the University of Memphis, a fourth-year player.
How about those Tigers?
How about that?
Hey, the Lions signed somebody today,
Yeah,
guys.
they did.
The most outstanding player of the CFL. The guy had 18 sacks
in 18
this past
games.
year. In 18 games, 42 tackles, 4 strips, 4 fumbles, fumble strips. What do you call those?
Sack fumbles,
sack
strip
fumbles,
sacks.
yeah, strip sacks, whatever. His name is Matthew Betts. And he played for the BC Lions.
How about that?
How about that?
And now he's playing for the Detroit Lions.
Playing for the Detroit Lions. The
looks,
first free agent signing for the Lions.
Season's looking up already.
There you go.
Season's looking up already.
Well, they're trying to get, they're trying to get people. I mean, if this is any indication, they're trying to go after people they can get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Facts.
no matter what league you're playing in, the CFL, the UFL, the NFL, the CFB, the California Penal League.
Yep.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Just get to the quarterback.
You're right.
Get to the quarterback.
That was a line from Major League.
I
mean, the young kids out there might not know.
They might not.
The movie Major League.
Give me Vaughn.
Give me Vaughn.
Why didn't you guys tell me my elbows were ashy though?
What?
I didn't know.
Like my
I
elbows.
didn't look at your elbow.
I'm not looking at your elbows.
Like I literally was in the bathroom, saw my elbows ashy
Who's
as heck.
looking at your elbows?
They keep coming up the whole time. What are you talking
I'm not
about?
looking at
I
your
wouldn't put
elbows.
lotion on them. No,
That's
we're good
Brittany's
now.
problem, not our problem.
But if I'm ashy, I make you look bad too. We represent each other.
Yeah, I'll start looking at
Don't look at my elbows.
Marielle had lipstick on her teeth today,
Oh.
and some people were tweeting in about. I wasn't looking so directly at the teeth. I'm not looking at your elbow.
It's noticeable though.
Where? Your elbow is facing that way.
Now it is, but when I walked in, I got a long arm. My elbow was out.
By the way, the guy that signed,
nice and
that
good.
announced the signing for Detroit, Justin Dunk. Is there a better name than Justin Dunk?
Dunk.
You got a hoop though.
You know?
Got a hoop.
Oh, he's probably got a Dunking suits.
And they're selling those Dunking suits for $60.
Out.
They're out
They're
already.
out of it.
$60.
19 minutes. Sold
Wow.
Oh, what? What's
the
a
Dunk King suit. The,
Dunk King. I got you.
The Dunkin' Donuts,
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Tom Brady
That was
suits.
a pretty fun commercial.
That was really good. That
It
was
got a
really
B
good.
only
Must
or a
have watched the
C.
Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
I think it got a C, by the way, on the commercial where they rate the commercials.
Oh, it's so good, though.
Yeah, I thought so.
Tom, let's go around the NFL, my friend.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, okay. I had something else here. But
Oh,
that's-
what did
that's
you
fine.
have?
No, it's okay. We'll go around the NFL.
I was going to have you lead this segment, if you could, with
Yeah.
the Detroit draft and everything like that.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to call that around the NFL? Okay. We'll do that.
Never mind, dude.
No. I got you, man.
Any topic in the NFL.
That's what I expected. How about Mike Zimmer? Yesterday I told you there was an opportunity that he wasn't going to get the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator job. Well, that was true because Rex Ryan, as of an hour before this signing, supposedly was talking to Dallas, but it did not get done. Mike Zimmer is officially the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys.
I just think
former head coach of the Vikings.
If I'm Jerry Jones, I think on top of what Keyshawn Johnson said yesterday that you highlighted, Ryan, in terms of Rex Ryan being a blitz package quarterback, he blitzes a lot of unique exotic blitzes. Like, he's a big personality. And when you're the guy, Jerry Jones, what doesn't Mike McCarthy have? He doesn't have a big personality. He doesn't have big energy like that, although he's tried to pick it up a little bit. You don't want to hire a guy with a big personality that might keep you off. Zimmer's quiet, chill, old school football guy, and he knows the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, he
He's
used to
been
be there. Yeah.
Exactly. That's Deion's guy.
No doubt.
So
No doubt
100%.
about it. He's an
Yeah.
excellent defensive mind. I mean, he was too defensive for the Vikings.
Too defensive.
Their offense he couldn't get out of his own way. That's what Kevin O'Connell's there for. Here's a couple of Steeler notes for you guys. Ari mentioned that the Steelers might be interested in Justin Fields. Well, hell, Mike Tomlin is a huge fan of Justin Fields, and the rumors are out there. Patriots with the 3rd pick in the draft. Will they go with the Bears? Will the Bears swap it out and get Justin Fields over to New England, and then they get the number 3 pick, which would give them a quarterback and their wide receiver.
That's the biggest question of the offseason.
Yep.
What do the Bears do with Justin Fields? Are they going to take the quarterback, or are they going to keep Justin Fields? Every domino will occur after that point, I think, because look, and Merrill Hodgkin said, I can say it doesn't matter. Caleb Williams to me is not that. I would not move Justin Fields for Caleb Williams. Not the way they were playing at the end of the year either. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more to get it. But once you get it, man, that thing can go. Chicago is really in an interesting place because, yes, you're going to have to pay Justin Fields pretty soon. But that defense, and with Justin Fields, if you give him maybe another wide receiver, give him another offensive lineman, hell, get him some kind of running back, which you can go out there and do, by the way, this offseason, that's a team that I think could absolutely contend at bare minimum for a wild card spot. Bare minimum.
I just think the hard part, though, is Chicago has missed on the quarterback since how
we apologize for that.
I said, shoot, hell. Like, when's the last time Chicago's had a quarterback of note? Sig Luckman? You got to go back that far. So I think if you're
85 Bears had a pretty good quarterback.
They did, and then he got hurt next year, and then he never was really the same.
I mean, Eric Kramer is the all-time passing
for the
leader.
Bears.
Think about that for the
Still.
Bears. Like, think about that still.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're Chicago Bears, you're looking at the situation with Caleb Williams, Drake May, whoever the heck it's going to be. Justin Fields has played 4 years already, Ryan Ermanni. 20, 21, 22, and last year was 23. Nothing about him has shown us that even though there's been different offensive coordinators, there's been different head coaches, you still know when a guy can be a guy. Am I right, man?
Oh, yeah.
And it just seems like he's not going to be a guy. This is year 5. This is year 5. You're going to waste again with Justin Fields potentially trying to figure out if he can be the guy, and you miss out on a big quarterback class. I just think if you're the Chicago Bears, that's something you cannot do. Justin Fields hasn't shown me enough that he can be a playoff quarterback yet. He's a work in progress. Year 4, you got to already know if a guy's a playoff quarterback. You look at the guys that get to the playoffs consistently. They were rocking and rolling year 1, year 2, definitely by year 3. This is year 5 coming up. And next
What's
year
the best team for him?
Atlanta.
Who, Justin Fields?
Yeah. You got New England. You got Pittsburgh. You got Atlanta. Who else?
I mean,
who else needs a quarterback like him?
Washington.
Washington?
I think Chicago. I think Chicago is still the best.
You don't think they're going to start it over, huh? You think they're going to?
Man, I don't know, because I think emotion is a large part of this. Trying to win the fans is a big part of this. Brad Holmes, one of the things, and I think you've got to give Brad Holmes all the credit in the world on this. If Brad Holmes was trying to win the fans, he would have traded Jared Goff the minute he got him, or cut him, or drafted any quarterback.
He would have signed a guy like Montez Sweat if you wanted to make us happy.
Right. But instead, he's doing what he feels is necessary to do to have an elongated period of success. And I think not every general manager has that capability. Clearly, every general manager does not have that capability. Otherwise, you'd never have a guy get fired because he makes all the right decisions. I think if you're Chicago and you're looking at the guy that just hoisted the Lombardi Trophy for the 3rd time, and you think to yourself, we could have had that guy. We could have drafted Patrick Mahomes, but we blew it, and we passed him up.
Moved up for Trubisky.
And we keep blowing it.
And we keep blowing it. We cannot afford to be wrong on Caleb Williams.
Exactly.
But even if your evaluation, maybe you're sitting there at Hallis Hall in what are they? Not in Chicago, but wherever they are, Lake Forest, wherever their building is. If you're sitting there, you're like, if your evaluation is like a Merrill Hodges, let's just say your football people are telling you that their eyes are seeing exactly what Merrill Hodge says. But you can't be wrong. If you pass up Caleb Williams, you are going to regret it for the next 10 to 15 years. So you take him anyway, and he becomes exactly what your eyes told you he was going to become in January, February of 2024 when you're sitting down and evaluating his tape. So I don't know. Do you pick that guy because of the past?
Right.
Look,
don't forget their past was our past. We have to trust Holmes now. They have to trust Ryan Pace now.
What did we say a couple? What did we say a couple of last offseason when it came to the defensive backs? You can't take a defensive back too high because it didn't work out with Jeff Okudah.
Correct. That's different.
If you're in Chicago, your fan base is saying the same thing.
Right,
We
about a quarterback.
absolutely have to take Caleb Williams because we missed on Patrick Mahomes.
It's not because we missed on Patrick Mahomes. It's because you missed on every quarterback draft that you had a chance to draft a quarterback. Chicago Bears been drafting defense for the better part of the last century. Like, they legitimately have a couple offensive picks. Trubisky didn't work out. Sergio Benson, rest in peace. One of my former friends. But you have to get it right. You just look at your division, Ryan. In your division, you got you got Jared Goff, you have Jordan Love, and you have Kirk Cousins essentially if he comes back. Justin Fields is nowhere near better than any one of those guys. Darn sure isn't better than Jordan Love and Jared Goff. So you know this already. So why keep a guy that you know can't even win your division? Like, you might as well give yourself the shot and say, look, you know what? Everybody's talking about, let's do our own evaluation. Let's see if it holds true to what we've heard from Joel Klett and the likes of that. And if it does, let's take a shot. At least if this time we get it wrong, we did the move we were supposed to do.
I agree with him now.
Yeah.
He has changed my mind on Justin Fields. As much as I like him, and
I
I
still
think
like the
he'll
guy.
be a good quarterback.
I'm trying to think from the front office, like
Correct.
an owner. I'm trying to get out of being a player.
They got two number ones.
Yeah.
A quarterback's got to be one of those. It's got to be. Pick the right one.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, look, I get it. I totally understand what you guys are saying. But you cannot pick a player if you do not believe that player is a franchise guy. You can't do it. You can sell that spot and maybe kick the can down the road. You don't have to pay Justin Fields this year. Maybe you can make it. I don't know. What I'm saying is, if you pick Caleb Williams and you are wrong on Caleb Williams, you're all fired and your franchise is set back
10 years.
At least 6 years. At least 6 years. When you could have traded that pick, maybe gotten 2 2s, 2 1s, and really developed a team.
Like Brad did.
If that guy, now if you're sold on Caleb Williams, you're sold on Caleb Williams. But if you're not, I think that's something you've got to consider.
I think everybody was sold on Caleb Williams until Miro Hodge came out.
Not me.
Everybody else outside of you sold on Caleb Williams, except Miro Hodge and Ryan Ermanni. If you keep Justin Fields another year, now you blow another chance for a quarterback, then let's say you have a bad season, you have to contend in this division as well. The division doesn't win. You've wasted another year. Now you got to see what you're going to do next year. Who's going to be the quarterbacks? What pick do you have next year? Who's a free agent quarterback? Because you're not going to have a good pick like this year where you're with pick 1 in the draft. It's just a tough shoot, man. At the end of the day, I'm glad I'm not the GM in the front office for the Chicago Bears.
It is fun though, right?
It is.
It is fun because you look
fun.
at what the Bears did this year, and what do the Bears have? 2 picks in the top 3 or top 5?
They're like 1-9 last year. This year they're 1-9, right?
Yeah, when you start trading picks like that because people get so desperate. I mean, what if you're the Bears and you take Caleb Williams and all of a sudden he becomes Bryce Young? Mm-hmm. You know, and your coach gets fired and everybody gets fired. That possibility, I know it's not popular to say that possibility doesn't exist, but let me tell you, that possibility does exist. Bryce Young is not going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. He's just not. I don't think so. I hope I'm wrong on that because I don't wish ill on anybody, but they clearly missed on that quarterback class. C.J. Stroud was the pick. If there's one guy every 3 years like C.J. Stroud, you cannot miss on him. And the Carolina Panthers missed.
Look, relax they missed on Bryce Young because, in my estimation, 3 years ago, you were saying Justin Fields should be the quarterback. 2 years ago, you were saying Justin Fields was missed. Now you're saying...
I said that?
Yes. Both of you.
What did I say about...
Justin Fields. You say...
I don't think Justin Fields is all that great.
I understand that, but you were saying he was a complete miss. Now you're saying they should keep him.
Yeah.
So they don't have anything down there for him to work with. Talking about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, there's no one down there. They don't have wide receivers. They had wide receiver chaos before the season started. They don't have running backs. Miles Sanders that came over from the Philadelphia Eagles this year. He didn't have a good year. They had no running backs. Plus, he can't see over the line. We knew that. So I would say with Caleb Williams, he's done a lot more. He has more weapons. He has Cole Kmet. He has Tariq Cohen. He has DJ Moore is who the Panthers gave up to get Chicago's pick. He's got talent at the running backs. He's got talent at the wide receivers. He's got talent at the tight end position. So he's coming into a much better situation than Bryce Stroud down there in Carolina. He didn't have anybody.
By the way, you are right about that. I did say that about Justin Fields. Yeah. But it's just like Dan Campbell kicking an extra point or kicking a field goal. You have to coach the game you're in. You have to pick for the season that you're in, too. When you have the opportunity to maybe fleece some team with a couple of number ones or a couple of number twos and not be worse at the quarterback spot, and maybe you just have to punt and address your quarterback at another time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a better option to be a good organization in the NFL too. I mean, it's a really unique spot because I do believe you're right about this.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right about this. Merrill Hodge is the only person that is saying that Caleb Williams isn't all that.
You guys like what Baker Mayfield did this year, and you like the year he won the playoff game.
I still don't think you're winning a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield. That's a perfect example.
No, I understand that, but Caleb Williams is better. I'm just going the track record. For a second, Kyler Murray. I know we don't like what happened in the playoffs, but for a second, you can see him. Even last year, you saw same coach is what I'm saying. Lincoln Riley is Caleb Williams' coach. 2 years ago, when Caleb Williams had talent, when you had Jordan Addison, when he had a running back, he had two receivers, Caleb Williams was elite at the highest level. Last year, they didn't have anything. It didn't look the same. This year, when he comes to the Bears, he'll have some players that can help him out, and I think he'll be far ahead of the curve as a Bryce Young was down in
Washington's going to get Caleb Williams. Washington,
somehow, some way.
They are getting him. They are getting
at number one.
They are getting Caleb
so they go
Williams.
Do they swap with Chicago?
Probably.
Yes. Okay.
Trust me when I tell you, Cliff
like
Kingsbury's there for a reason.
Yeah.
They're not letting that kid get to anywhere except D.C. He will be
from
Washington's
DC.
quarterback.
And honestly, to be quite frank with you, that might be the only, I don't want to say the only, but that is clearly the number 1, 2, and 3 option for Caleb Williams.
Best scenario.
Why do guys flame out in the NFL? Not because they're not talented enough to be in the NFL.
They don't get
with a bad team, a bad organization, a bad coaching staff. And you have a coach. I did a town hall on Saturday with the Michigan Panthers. Coach Mike Nolan for the UFL. And one of the questions to the audience is, what kind of offense do you run? What kind of team do you want to be? And I thought he gave a really great answer. He's like, I don't know yet. Essentially, he's like, let me see what kind of players I got first. Because the coach has to adapt to the players. He's like, my philosophy as a coach is I want to do what my players do well. That's the type of team I want to have. That's the type of offense I want to run. That's the type of defense I want to run. There's so many times in the league, and Braylon, you could speak to this, where the coaches want you to do whatever they want you to do their way, even though that might not be in your wheelhouse. But they try to mold you, shape you to do what they want to run, not the other way around. And 9 times out of 10, and twice on Sunday, that fails.
Bad coaches don't understand that players don't like to run. It's little nuances about a thing. It's a little nuance about a play. It's a little nuance about when to get the ball, et cetera, et cetera. So you're absolutely correct. I mean, look at what was the offense? Shane Steichen. Look at what Shane Steichen was with the Philadelphia Eagles. What they adapted to is they adapted to who Jalen Hurts was. They said, look, we got tired trying to fit him into the Peyton mode or to this mode or Tom mode, or he can be like Lamar, or maybe he can be like insert quarterback here, Josh Allen. No, he's Jalen Hurts. So when you saw Shane Steichen figure that out, met him where he was, look at the year that they had 2 years ago. Now Shane Steichen leaves and it falls apart. Your coach has to meet you where you are, and that's 100% great conversation by Mike Nolan.
Todd Monken messed up Lamar Jackson
in the playoffs. He did
in the playoffs. Todd Monken, the OC of Baltimore, I think blew that game.
Well,
Baltimore probably be a Super Bowl champion right now.
Didn't allow him to do what he does best.
Exactly. They did
stay in that pocket. Stay in the pocket.
They did everything opposite that they did all regular season to get them where they got them.
They were the highest running team, the most running team in the NFL, and they did 6 runs in the AFC Championship
Did you
game.
watch the
At home.
49ers game, Todd Monken?
Yeah.
Did you watch when they played against the Lions? Did you watch when they played any NFC team?
Right.
Period. Did you watch what
Yeah.
they did? They ran the ball. Lamar was comfortable in and out of the pocket. But when you make him solely stay in the pocket, now he doesn't trust himself. Now when he should run, he doesn't run because he doesn't want to upset the fluidity of whatever the heck he was trying to do.
I'm
And Todd
surprised he
Monken-
still has a job.
Todd Monken shit, and he's a college guy too.
Yeah.
He should be back down there with Georgia. send him back to Georgia. It didn't work.
Oh, guys, hey.
By the way, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they let Mitch Trubisky go.
Yeah, very good.
Takes the whole Chicago Bears thing and puts it to bed.
Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky gets released one day after Patrick Mahomes
Yes.
wins his third Super Bowl.
It
because
all comes together.
For those of you that don't know, the Chicago Bears actually traded up to get Mitchell Trubisky,
Yes.
and then Kansas City went up and got Patrick Mahomes after that.
Thank
I
you,
mean, just
Buffalo.
incredible stuff. We'll find out where Caleb Williams goes and what happens with Justin Fields soon enough. The NFL draft in Detroit just 72 days away. And the University of Michigan has 18 players headed to the Combine. That is at the end of the month. What is that, February 20th, I believe?
Sounds about right. In Indy?
In Indianapolis, 18 players.
That's a record.
You want to know why Michigan won the national championship
That's
this
why.
year? Right there.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand, like, there's still the cheating crowd out there.
Oh, yeah.
But there's one reason why Michigan won the national championship. 18.
Two things about that.
18 NFL-ready players. And
sure?
all of them will get drafted.
You sure it wasn't Connor Stallions on the CMU bench that won him the championship?
Perhaps maybe he got something related to Alabama that day.
Oh, okay.
But,
They weren't playing Alabama.
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
All right.
something.
Just checking.
But that's why 18 NFL players. You want to know why the University of Michigan lost during the Rich Rod years?
Nobody was getting drafted.
They didn't have any NFL talent. You want to know why they didn't have anybody really win big in the Brady Hoke years?
Okay, nobody was getting
And
drafted.
nobody with no NFL talent. You want to know why Jim Harbaugh didn't have much success early on at Michigan? They didn't have anybody getting drafted. One guy here or there, maybe some whatever, but 18.
With the exception of the 2016 season, that's when Jabril finished fourth in the Heisman. Outside of that, you're absolutely correct. But it's player development. You saw what happened on the coaching staff. The coaching staff changes. He got some guys in there that can coach these players, that can relate to these players. And then also he brings in Ben Herbert, who he's taking. If anything, that's the one that I'm sad about. Him taking is Ben Herbert. But he got Ben Herbert
Strength
in there.
and conditioning.
Strength and conditioning coach. Know how to get these guys in shape, make them physical, let them endure for a whole season. College football is going the way of the NFL. It's long and grueling now. So you got to have a strength and conditioning coach, and that's what he did, man. But you're right. 18 guys, it's unheard of. That's why you win the national championship. You got NFL talent, and you're ready, and you're cultivating.
And not only that, but you got a first-round quarterback. Regardless of how I feel about it, J.J. McCarthy is going to be drafted in the first round. J.J. McCarthy is going to be the first offensive skill player to be drafted in the first round of the NFL draft since Braylon Edwards in 2005.
What?
That is incredible that Michigan, since 2005, has not had one first-round offensive skill position player taken in the first round of the NFL
Skilled
draft.
quarterback, running back,
Wide
and
receiver,
wide receiver.
tight end.
Tight end.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
I always say, when you're recruiting kids off YouTube and you're not actually paying attention to what they can do, Rich Rodriguez,
Sam McGuffey,
things like that happen 100%.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's an important thing. So it'll be there. We'll be excited to see it.
I got some Harbaugh sound. Was I going to play it?
Please.
Someone asked him on Super Bowl weekend. Well, he's a Chargers head coach now. The Chargers are just continuing to put out great video,
Yeah,
by the
they
way.
are. They got a great team.
Their team is, Harbaugh, I think, is leading social media now at the Chargers level. Anyway, someone asked him about the championship year at Michigan.
We did that. Championship, but a national championship at your alma mater.
We did that. Yeah, it's just when I was leaving the team and telling them I was coming to the Chargers, I just don't forget that. Don't forget that you did that. And when people stop talking about it and it dies down, just the way you walk, the way you carry yourself and look at each other and say, it'll be a head nod. It won't be a deep, long bow anymore, but it'll still be that. And go do it again. Go do it again. now they know, what it feels like to be a champion, to be undefeated, and just so excited about that, for every guy on that team and all the coaches. And yeah, the baton's been passed. Now Sharon Moore's the head coach at Michigan, and
how about that? We did that.
Yeah.
We did that.
So that video tells me he told his team after the championship game that he was leaving.
Well, he met the team the team after,
during the parade and all of that. So, like when we talked to Will Johnson and we asked him, "Do you know?" He said, "Oh yeah, we know." So, I guess the cat was out of the bag long before our AD wrecked things. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get him going.
I don't know. I mean, I think I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know.
I think he wanted the NFL ride.
Yeah.
Regardless of what.
I'm sure there's a part of him that wanted that. If you stick a contract in front of it, I don't want to rehash it, but if you stick a contract in front of his face and give him everything he wants during the suspension in December, in November. Does it get to this point? It's so old and tired. I don't even want to go down this road. But Steve Klinksdale is leaving Michigan as well.
That's Will Johnson's coach.
I think he wanted to be the defensive coordinator. Thought he was going to be the defensive coordinator. So Klinksdale will leave for LA. This hurts them big time in the recruiting trail as well. And this.
So
this might be the dumbest thing I've ever said on radio. But I'm thinking
just say it.
If I'm Will Johnson, I'm sitting out. I'm pulling a Joey Bosa.
Nick,
everybody's gone for the most part.
Yeah,
I just in NIL and all this. The only reason that it's even remotely a case not to is because you are making NIL money, and I bet Will Johnson is doing pretty good. But that entire team is gone.
Yes.
That entire coaching staff.
Donovan Edwards is still there.
Is essentially gone, and maybe that's part of why you wouldn't. Because of the brotherhood, and I understand that. But I do think the conversation is at least worth having in the Johnson household, is pulling a Joey Bosa or a Nick Bosa and sitting out. And I wouldn't be mad at him for doing it. I wouldn't want him to, but everybody is gone. You are starting from scratch.
Look, man, you would ask me this question some years ago, especially when I was playing, absolutely not. But now the game has gone the way. Even when it first started happening,
completely different game.
Even when it first started happening, I still when Nick Bosa did it, he was like, "Oh, my ankle!" Like, Nick, come on, man. Like you had a mild sprained ankle in week 1, and you set out the whole season. But now I'm at the point with Ryan Ermanni. Like, look, Will Johnson he's All-American as a freshman. He's freshman, All-American freshman. He was All-American, unanimous, as a year 2 guy. What does he stand to gain now? We know what he can do. We know what the skill level is. He's covered some of the best wide receivers. Hell, he covered the best wide receiver in football in Marvin Harrison Jr. What's left for you to do? Go out there and get embarrassed because now your defensive line can't get to the quarterback, which means you have to guard wide receivers longer. The longer you have to guard a wide receiver, he's going to get open at some point. You go 6-6 or 7-5 or even 8-4. Hell, sit out. Like, this guy is a top 10 pick right now.
You really got to see, and I know Wink Martindale.
If your coach can lead, he can sit out.
Right. I know Wink Martindale, drew up the defense that Jesse Minter and Mike McDonald ran. But you really do have to see if this is the kind of defense that you want to be a part of. Like, are you comfortable in this defense, and are you comfortable with what's happening in front of you and everything like that? It's a different sport now. Look, guys, college football is completely gone. The college football that I grew up loving is completely gone. And it was really up until now that up until this season, that college football was not my number one. College football was here. The NFL was here, and everything else after that. And now it's not even close. It's the NFL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And college football is just a complete afterthought because of the game. The game is not what we grew up knowing.
No.
Not only grew up.
You might like the playoff, though.
Our
Right?
entire the playoff, sure. The college football is going to be like March Madness. You probably will only watch until maybe, I don't know if that's right or not. I'm just so annoyed. I'm just so annoyed with college football. They ruined the sport.
I'm with you.
They ruined the sport.
College football has turned to the NFL, and it's not the NFL. So I might as well watch the NFL.
And I probably don't mean that about Will Johnson. I'm just so annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed with the sport. I'm so annoyed with what's happening at Michigan. I'm just so annoyed in general with everything about that. So, yes, I don't want Will Johnson to sit out, but I wouldn't be mad at him if he did either.
No, it's a good take.
I think Jim Harbaugh leaving, man, has got an effect on you, man.
Well, the
whole
I
situation.
told you it ruined me. It ruined me.
The whole situation how it played out, I think. It's an ugly, nasty deal, and then he leaves.
Look, Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan. If I felt he left Michigan because he wanted to leave Michigan, I just don't. Just like my take on Trevor Lawrence, just like my take on Caleb Williams, is the same as Jim Harbaugh. I do not think Jim Harbaugh wanted to leave.
Yeah,
he felt he had to leave, but I don't know if I'll ever get over that.
Right,
because now it's not like he left. He has taken everybody.
Right, he left for a great gig.
Okay.
A great gig.
Fine.
One of 32.
But listen, part of it too.
We're giving you the keys.
Part of it too, Maz, is college football is not
correct.
What
it's not.
Is not what Jim Harbaugh came back to coach. It's not what I love. This is a completely different sport.
What did I say? What did I put out? There was a tweet the other day. A coach. It was a coach of a lesser team. Even.
Oh, I saw that.
And a guy.
It was the University of Maryland coach.
Maryland.
Did you see this
Mike
guy?
Lampley.
Mike Loxley.
Yes.
Mike Loxley, the head coach of University of Maryland, said he had a third-team running back come up to him and demand $100,000, or he was going to enter the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Guys, that is not college football.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yes.
I'm done.
That broke me when I saw that.
I don't want any part of college football anymore. If Michigan wins, great. I want my school to win. I want my school to be successful. But my love for college football is completely 90% out the door. They lose to Texas 42-7. It ain't ruining my Saturday this year. They lose to Michigan State. Who's Michigan State's head coach? What's his name?
John Smith. Jonathan Smith.
John L. Smith.
Jonathan Smith.
They lose to John L. Smith and Michigan State. Oh, Sparty's going nuts. Great. Ain't going to ruin my Saturday. I do not care about college football.
I think that will.
Anymore. Break time. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts. Remember, you can walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register to win a trip of your dreams, somebody's dreams, to the 2024 NCAA Tournament. That's right, an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA Tournament. No expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts, remember, open 7 days a week. You could walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome. And now, let me tell you about Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts. And
you got Guardian Alarm back?
For over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, their 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
I love Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey guys, it's Maz for the best pet store in Michigan. It's hands down Michigan's best pet store. We're talking about Premier Pet Supply, family-owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, and of course they got it at the lowest prices available. They got nutritionists available if you need to make a call for your pet. Give your pet the best. Do not settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com. And your pet would probably love to play Jack Labrador with you. That's right. It's a new way to play rock, paper, scissors. It's the only way to play rock, paper, scissors. The new way. Get this Champions deck for only $20. Go to jacklabrador.gg for more. You know, football season's over. Spring training right around the corner. Jack Labrador 24/7, 365 days a year. 2 new symbols and a format changing, you know it, 3-point play. Get it right now at jacklabrador.gg. Let's go to Kool-Aid.
And Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Just visit your local Planet Fitness today or find them online at planetfitness.com.
Hey, by the way, speaking of college football, continuing just for a second, did you see Nick Saban has a new job?
I do. He's joining the group. He's joining them. There's like 17 people on College Game Day now. And Nick Saban is now on College Game Day. Congratulations to St. Nick.
Yeah, who is it? So they got Reese Davis, they got Desmond Howard, they got Pat McAfee, they got Kirk Herbstreit, they got Lee Corso, they got Nick Saban.
Lee's still up there?
He's still up there.
He's there.
Spot
they need
duty.
someone to put the
spot duty.
Yep.
Yeah, Lee.
Lee's
but he don't even be talking about the right games at times, man. He was like, well, you know what? Let me tell you one thing about, like, Coach, that was last week, man. It was LSU and South Carolina played last week. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what they do, right? You get on any show with a panel. I mean, hell, we love our Fox pregame show, but they got Brady Quinn, they got Matt Leinart, they got the running back from Flint.
Mark Ingram. They do it different though. Something about theirs is more like, maybe it's got the fans in the background. It's more exciting. Maybe it's
more analytical too.
Yeah,
I mean,
they break it down.
It's much more sportsy, which I really enjoy.
Give me the NFL today on CBS in 1975.
with
Brett Musburger, Jimmy the Greek, Irv Cross, and Phyllis George.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, though, right?
Yeah.
Like the NFL ones, it's like everybody up there just kind of just repeating either the same thing or they're giving.
There's like 7 people.
It makes no sense.
They look crowded at the desk.
I remember the first time we had the Prime one, when it was the Prime cast.
Saban don't want nothing to do with the
Andrew
sport
Wentworth.
either.
It was Richard Sherman. That whole desk. It was the quarterback. What's his name? Fitzmagic.
Oh yeah, on Prime. Oh, they're
that's
awful.
That might be the worst.
It not might be. It is.
It's
the
by
worst.
far the worst. It looks like some guys that all just stay at the same hotel. Was like, oh, you're here too. Let's do something.
Like if you think about it, why guys like because they're talking about this was you never know what's going to happen at CBS because Phil Simms, Boomer Esiason, and Bill Cowher's contracts are all up.
Yeah,
right.
Someone ain't coming back.
Got rid of Bill Cowher.
Well, he's the only coach on there. You got to have a coach.
Yeah, but he's just so mundane and vanilla. He never goes after coaches. No coaches go after coaches. He doesn't really go after players. He's kind of boring.
I can see Phil
somebody
going.
New.
I like Phil, but I can see him.
I like Boomer over Phil.
I can see. Oh, I love Boomer.
Yeah, I love Boomer.
Yeah.
Boomer, I think, is the best on the desk.
Yeah.
Hands down.
But you talk about that, though. I guess my point is, these guys are the guys we all know. Every football fan knows. And then you try something different. Nobody wants to see Ryan Fitzpatrick. Sorry, nobody wants to see Richard Sherman.
No.
Nobody wants to see whoever they got on that other end. I don't even know his name.
The offensive lineman from the
Andrew Wentworth.
Wentworth.
Nobody wants to see Wentworth. They want to see Howie Long.
Yeah.
They want to see Bill Cowher. They don't want to see Andre Whitworth.
They want to see iconic people.
Right?
He's just mixing guys up right now. You're just mixing and matching people.
Isn't Nate Burleson on the CBS desk too?
Yes,
Yeah.
but and they're trying to. But again, that's what they try to do at CBS. They try to get one guy to put him with. So you've got Burleson. Hell, you've got Gronkowski now on Fox. But
he's terrible.
He's not great. But you had
Michael
Strahan.
Strahan's good.
Strahan's good. But Strahan was that young player that you mixed with Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, and Jimmy Johnson.
Newly retired.
You said they put J.J. Watt on the desk now. The other day.
And he
was
actually
pretty
really
good.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say
good.
pretty good, but he was the best of any
His
of them.
hair was a mess, but he was pretty good.
Yeah, I saw somebody on X saying, "Oh, this is me in 2002 at prom."
Exactly.
He had the spiked hair.
He had
something like that.
Hey, Deshaun Foster's the new head coach of the UCLA Bruins of the Big Ten.
Yo, I'm excited for Deshaun Foster. And I'm happy at UCLA.
He's my age.
100%. In fact, we were just talking about that game in 2000.
2000.
So in the 2000 season, Maz, Deshaun Foster was by far going to win the Heisman. I think that's the year Chris Winkie won. He legitimately was going to win the Heisman. He had the best numbers in the country. They beat Michigan. I remember talking to DT about that.
I watched that game with Rich Eisen.
Oh, you
at
did?
Dominic's.
Oh, wow. Dominic's. Oh, my God.
Yep.
Like, he was on pace, and then, obviously, he gets suspended 4 games for some other stuff. He didn't win the Heisman, but they brought him back as an assistant coach in 2017, and now he's taking over as the head coach of that institution. Man, shouts out to UCLA for reaching back, pulling the player up.
Hey, can I put something out there I've had for a few days here?
Sure. Hey, just
Nobody else wants that job.
I'm sorry, one thought about Foster.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He was cold.
No offense to him, but as you said, nobody else wants that job. No old person wants that job.
Hell no.
College football is purely a young man's game. Purely a young man's game. If you're not in your 40s or early 50s, sorry.
He was actually good, Maz.
Maybe even 30s. Look at Marcus Freeman, Sharon Moore.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Since the Super Bowl just happened, he was really good in the Super Bowl with the Panthers.
You sure was.
When the Panthers should have beat the
It was a great
Patriots.
Panthers. They should have beat the Patriots.
100%.
Jake Delhomme.
26 with the smoke visor.
That's it, man. Hey, I want to put this out for you guys. This is for everybody. 2020, not too long ago. And, of course, we're in 2024 right now.
That seems like 10
There's
years ago.
similarities between these 2 years are unbelievable.
Just leave it up on the screen for a minute.
We will. But look at these things.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl in both years. Lamar Jackson MVP in both years. Ravens win the North both years. Texans win the South with 10 wins both years. Chiefs win the West. Okay. Chargers last in the West. Okay. Washington last in the East. 13 losses. Okay. Twice. Panthers last in the South. Twice. 49ers win the West. Cardinals last in the West.
I just
Chiefs?
want to know who's got time to think of this stuff.
It's amazing.
A lot of people out there.
49ers, number 1 seed. Billie Eilish, Song of the Year, both times. Chiefs, plus 600 preseason odds to win the Super Bowl twice. How about the Bruins and Maple Leafs? Finished top 5 in the East. Avalanche, second in the West. Celtics and Bucks, top 3 in the East. Nuggets, third in the West. Number 1 seed wins college football playoff. 2 undefeated teams play in the college football playoff.
Hold on.
Loser of the college football playoff loses by 3 scores. Joel Embiid surgery, left hand.
Here we go.
Surgery this year, left knee.
Here we go.
Ron Rivera fired both times. Citrus Bowl winner wins by 35. COVID starts in March. Will COVID start in this March?
COVID never started then either. Look, let me tell you about that. All of this is...
Braylon's going to take it apart now.
No, I'm not. Won't have time for all that. All of this is someone that had a lot of time, but a lot of it is good. It's good stuff. The one at the end, how in the heck did they figure out the Citrus Bowl one? That's the one where I agree with Ryan. Like, how do you find this out?
Right.
What was the score of some bowl games?
I don't know.
Now you got to go down 40 bowl games?
Right. Yes.
Now that one, somebody had way too much time.
Right.
The
Is that something?
The other stuff is kind of cool. That one right there, nah. You're beyond bored.
I love the loser of the
Count
college
Stallions.
football playoff lost by 3 scores.
Right. 3 scores.
I think that's pretty freaking
Oh,
funny.
my God.
It's crazy, though.
What's the wackiest one here that hits?
The one at the end.
The wackiest one that hits has got to be
Billie Eilish.
Well, Billie Eilish.
Yeah, I said Billie Eilish is
Billie
good.
Eilish is good, and I think Ron Rivera is pretty good.
It is. And how about
That's the funniest one.
how about Joel Embiid? Left hand,
Yeah.
left knee.
Oh, my God.
You know how hard it is when Song of the Year at the Grammys? As a brother, I mean,
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. That is so great. That is
What else?
so great.
What else do I have for you?
Well, let me tell you a couple of things. Can I just go back to the Lions for 1 second?
I don't see why not. Evidently.
Tim 21, maybe we can get him on in the next week or so, Maz.
Sure.
Wrote this 5 reasons why the Lions can be right back in the NFC title game. And I think so many people, I saw this yesterday too, and I don't remember where it was, otherwise I'd give credit, but it was something about the fact that the Dallas Cowboys won 3 of 5 Super Bowls as well. Something about Emmitt Smith popped in there today. Emmitt Smith not happy with the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys won 3 Super Bowls in a 5-year time span, ending in 1995. They have not been back to the NFC Championship game since then. It is really hard to get back to. What Tom Brady did, what Patrick Mahomes has done, I think 6 straight
Yes.
AFC
AFC
championship games. That's like an impossibility, what he's doing.
It's amazing.
So how do the Lions get back? Green Bay is going to be better.
5 and 6 years, I think.
What?
Patrick Mahomes. Is it 6
I think
straight?
6 straight.
6 straight.
Oh, that's right. He lost, but
Yeah.
it was in the championship
Yeah.
game. Yeah, you're right.
So the 5 reasons
Best
why the
quarterback
Lions can be in the title game next year. And if you look organizationally, it is some of the, everything but the impact is immeasurable. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, back. That's number 1. Goff, back. Coaching staff, back.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Plus 1.
Plus 1. Then you look at the roster development, right? If they don't add another player through the draft or free agency, which we know they're not going to do, but if they don't add another player, look at how much better you assume, because this coaching staff is there, you are assuming that Aiden Hutchinson is going to get better, Brian Branch is going to get better, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get better, Sam Laporta is going to be better. They're not going to be, these players are not peaking year 1. They are going to get better in the offseason, and they will be better, thus making this team better as well.
I agree, but something that Ari Meirov brought up, shout out to Ari Meirov, my 33rd team, came on the show today. It's the offensive line. Taylor Decker, another year older, getting older and is a vet. 1 year left on his contract. Jonah Jackson, injured a lot. Vaitai, injured a lot. Frank Ragnow, hell, we didn't even know if he was going to play. We found out he was, another year. He's injured a lot. He missed 4 games last year. You look at the right side of the line, Penei Sewell, had nothing to say about him. But is Glasgow going to continue to get better and better? And how's Kobe Scarsdale going to do? So I think the offensive line is going to be And that's why he has some very good questions. I don't think we thought about it that way. I think we were so focused on the defensive line. We didn't look at the offensive line, too. They are an injury-prone offensive line, and that, I think, is going to be something that has to be taken care of. You got to make sure the team or the offensive line can last through the season. Because now that you're not playing just 16 games, now they added an extra one to 17, and now you guys are playing into the playoffs to the NFC Championship. That's 20 games. Like, you see teams start to break down over the years because of playing those games. So the offensive line, I think, is something for us to watch in the draft, free agency, because I think that's going to be the catalyst for them getting back to the game next year.
And if you listen to Ari, and he was with us earlier today, he mentioned that Brad Holmes inherited this offensive line. Yeah, they got Penei Sewell, minus Penei Sewell. So if he could pull another rabbit out of his hat and get another offensive lineman to fit in there, that would be outstanding because it's definitely a need.
Well, it's this team's identity. Everything they do is based on the offensive line. Hell, Jared Goff is Jared Goff because of that offensive line.
Very true.
Everybody's making fun of Brock Purdy. Is Brock Purdy this? Is Brock Purdy that? If Jared Goff was the quarterback of the 49ers, faced with the pressure that Brock Purdy had, let me tell you, he would have looked like that too. Jared Goff plays with a clean pocket more often than not. And if you cannot protect Jared, and that's not just Jared Goff, that's not a Jared Goff problem. That is a 90% of quarterbacks in the NFL problem. There are only, there's only so many Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Forgot about him.
Those guys don't fall off trees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've got to make your own success at that position as well.
Trevor Lawrence.
I really believe. Listen, man.
Trevor Lawrence.
Let me cut to the chase
I'm
here.
joking. I know.
Let me cut to the chase on the Lions.
Yeah.
Brad Holmes, he's been great, and we all love him and we trust him. He called some of the Lion reporters out. I'm going to consider those Lion reporters us as well because we all said the same thing about him. You better go out and finish this team off this year. Finish them up. Get your free agents. Get them in here. Get guys that you already know that can play the game. Do your draft. Be happy. Do your draft. Do your player analysis, all of that. But you better get 2 rock-solid free agents in here. One in the back secondary and one on the freaking defensive line.
Is that
if you don't get those, you're rolling the dice.
So is that this year or is that next year?
Now,
because
this year.
I guess what I'm saying is if you look at what San Francisco did, San Francisco made it to 4 NFC championship games in the last 5 years, right? They lost a Super Bowl in there. They went for it this year with Chase Young.
They go for it a lot.
I know, but what I'm saying is,
You got Hargrave? Yeah,
if Hargraves don't go out in the first quarter, they might win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, they get
Think about that.
They get Hargraves last free agent season.
Yep.
And then they get
Chase
Young
deadline.
during the trade deadline. You're right.
They go for it every year.
Yeah.
They got Christian last year too.
This is your chance
McCaffrey.
now. This is your chance.
That's right.
I believe he probably should have went for it this year, to be perfectly honest with you. Go out and get one player to help you.
I will say this, Maz. You're absolutely correct. When you put yourself in the situation Brad Holmes has by calling out the media, and whether they were right or wrong, by calling out the media, by kind of continuing to talk about it, by maybe not making certain moves that people thought you should make, and then those moves come to bite you because you didn't have the defensive pressure, if you will. If he comes back this year, messes up in free agency and the draft, and the Lions don't do, now you sit here and all the love you gave him last year, all the love we're giving him this year, now, like Ryan always says, the NFL is a what have you done for me lately business. It's as we go, I can rechange or reevaluate. Yeah. And I think 100%, if they don't get it right in this offseason and the Lions don't look like the team they were this year, it's time to reevaluate Brad Holmes. And everyone deserves to be reevaluated based on new information.
What are the odds on him getting a draft class like last year? Slim and none.
Well, I don't.
Slim and none.
Okay, slim and none.
Okay, because you had 4 players get you to the NFC Championship game, all rookies.
2 players.
That ain't happening again.
2 players were both up for Rookie of the Year.
You've got to get an established NFL player on that line and in that secondary, and otherwise, don't bother me, because there's other teams that are getting better. The Packers are almost as good as the Lions already. The Bears are on our tails.
Yeah. Last time they played.
Dallas is still playing. Dallas is still coming back. Yeah,
Mike Zimmer.
Eventually they got to break through.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, that's been a 25-year
Tampa
situation.
Bay.
Tampa Bay, I don't buy Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield. I love the story, but I just think there are guys that can only get you to a certain spot. I don't.
You don't know that.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
No, that's why we talk about
Correct.
it. If I knew that,
I don't know that either. Yeah.
So what do you guys know?
Right.
I know that I'd have Baker Mayfield as my quarterback.
Right.
He's nice.
I know that.
I gave you credit for everything you said.
What I know is that the Pistons play tonight.
Yeah,
All
the
three
Pistons
teams
are at the
play-
Lakers.
Oh, not all three, but pitchers and catchers started today.
There you go.
Red Wings play and the Pistons play. So I know a little something.
Look at that. Pistons Lakers tonight. Enjoy that.
Red Wings Oilers. Two hot teams in the NHL.
Connor McDavid.
Who's the manager of the
The
Oilers?
manager, Kenny Holland. Kenny Holland. Yeah, he's the
I
manager.
just love that. I just love it. Who's the
manager?
Who's the manager?
Oh, hey,
So great.
Dan Dickerson's getting a bobblehead night.
Oh, yeah.
Our friend Dan.
And we've got breaking news in the Major League Baseball as well when it comes to announcers.
Oh, yeah. Well,
The Oakland A's.
Oakland A's hired a young lady to be their
First female play-by-play voice. How
But I don't know
that?
about that because the Orioles have a female, but maybe she's not the main.
Maybe she's not the primary.
Maybe she's not the primary.
Maybe she's not the
Or
primary.
maybe she's TV and this is radio.
Oh, maybe so. That could be it.
Is this an Oakland A's win or another typical Oakland A's L?
I think it's another typical Oakland A's.
You know, the Vegas is like, hey, Oakland, if you don't get your stuff together, we don't want you.
Stay in Oakland.
Yeah, stay in Oakland.
Stay in
that's
Oakland.
real.
They got one. This is the last year at the Oakland Coliseum. The lease is over.
They don't have a home.
And there's no one's building anything yet.
No.
The A's are up for grabs, folks.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Historic franchise.
Guess what? The Tigers open with the A's this year.
Oh, very good.
Opening
At
day,
home,
April 5th.
Bray, get us out of here, my
Opening
friend.
day, we will be doing something downtown. It will be fun. But until then, let's talk about pitches and catches tomorrow. See what the Detroit Tigers have to offer and more about Dan Campbell, the Lions. What direction will they go? 4 picks in the top 93. I think that's what we'll be talking about for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be fun. We appreciate you for tuning in. As always, appreciate the support. We love you guys. Kool-Aid, Pete Spivak, Tom Mazaway, Ryan Ermanni. We are Ermanni, Edwards, and Maz. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.